Where am I? Who are you? What do you want? Wait, no! Hello everyone and welcome to the recap review. Today we're going to be looking over the Kardatoran. From left to right we have set number 8947 Radiac, 8948 Gavla, 8949 Kiro, 8944 Tanma, 8945 Solik, and 8546 Photok. The sets all contained approximately 14 pieces, except for Radiac who has 16. They were released in the winter of 2008, and around time of release they were approximately $7. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly cut in here and remind everyone of my disclaimer. Just because a pro or con is here does not necessarily mean it is my opinion, unless I specifically say it is. Everything said in these videos are opinions from the community, or objective facts about them that I can represent here. Unless I specifically say that it is my opinion, please do not assume it is. Thank you. A lot of people have been looking forward to this review, so we should waste no time. Unfortunately, we are going to need to break this up kind of into two parts. We gotta focus on the Av-Matoran, unofficial name of course, and the Av-Matoran. So let's focus on the Av-Matoran to begin with. So obviously we have Photok, Tanma, and Solik, and they color correspond to their specific Toa, Pohatu, Liwa, and Kapaka. Now, that's a good thing. They are colorful. Granted, their primary and or secondary color is gray, however, they have a lot of vibrant colors to them. To boot, they also have a lot of new pieces. And when I say a lot of new pieces, I mean a lot. The only returning parts on them are their weapons. 2007, 2002, and 2002. Technically, you could say that the feet are returning. However, even then, they're remolded. They've got the new joint. So the design may be a return, however, this specific piece is actually not. On their backs, they have jetpacks, and the overall look and design of them is generally accepted to be quite cool. It's quite in line with the general Bionicle theme, the aesthetic. So overall, they look how you'd expect them to look. And that works in their favor. The masks, many people believe, look actually rather neat as well. Story-wise, they are the noble versions of the three great masks that we started off with. This is the noble Akaku, the noble Kakama, and the noble Miru. And you can kind of see some similarities in some promotional art and what have you, but that's the way it is. Now, build-wise, this is where things get a bit choppy. Because while they're consistent and they're all new pieces, they're all basically giant chunks of plastic. The unfortunate thing here is, it's a Galador effect. And many people really hate the Av-Matoran for this. They are just comprised of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 basic pieces to function. Sure, you add on the weapons and the jetpack, but those are just the core pieces it needs to work. And because of that, not only are they short, tall for Matoran, but there's no articulation in their elbows. You actually have approximately the same amount of articulation in these Matoran as you do the Toamata from 2001, sans the gear function. So that is definitely an issue many have with these Matoran. Now on the flip side, like I was saying earlier, they do look generally within the same aesthetic. They also have one final function, and that is to combine with their specific Toa. Now I'm not going to show you guys that right now. I'm going to wait until a Toa Fantoka review for that appearance, the function to make its appearance. However, as you can see here, the torsos have 4 pinholes, and you can just go ahead and plug that right onto, you'll see it. It's basically the 2008 version of the piece of unification. It works out real well. So posing is not exactly the easiest thing to do. Because of the limited articulation, you can get limited poses out of these guys. They will pose, don't get me wrong. However, it won't be the greatest. So, overall, it's kind of a good luck situation. If you're good at posing, I don't think you're going to have much of a problem. But that generally sums them up. Their stability, by the way, is also kind of half and half. You basically got to get lucky. Because they have tinier feet, and they are more top-heavy than those feet will allot for. But those are the Av-Matoran. Let's go ahead and move on to the Shadow Matoran. And here we have Gavla, Kiro, and Radiak. Now these in the story are Av-Matoran that have been infected by the Shadow Leeches and mutated further by Makuta Mutran. Now, many people believe that the Shadow Matoran are arguably better than the Av-Matoran counterparts, considering they have more variety and color to them. We've got such different colors here that it makes for a really nice contrast against the other Matoran, especially considering that these are Metru colors. We've got Metru Red and Metru Blue, and obviously this guy doesn't count because he's got gray and black. Now, in the story, these guys are supposed to be Av-Matoran, however, they are supposed to also be the counterpart to the Av-Matoran, so if they, hypothetically, are ice, stone, and air, then these guys are earth, fire, and water. And that shows. So it's a good thing to have the original 6 colors. That really works. Now, unlike their Av-Matoran counterparts, these guys actually do have new pieces. And not just weapons or masks, or back equipment. However, these guys do have new feet. Now, while they do have the exact same molding, the feet are completely new. And they do need them to function. It really does work to give them that weird and kind of evil and malice appearance. That is a really good thing. The only one that does not use those feet is Radiak, but he's completely unique in his own right, being, well, 4-legged. And he looks fantastic. A lot of people really like Radiak because he looks so unique. Now the other new piece would be this wing piece on the back here. And that fits in via an axle. And that kind of gives a brief appearance, of having wings. So it does really work in their favor. However, they share basically all the same pros and cons as the other Av-Matoran. No articulation in the elbows or knees, limited articulation in the necks, and overall they're just giant chunks of plastic. So their fan base is quite small. They also will combine with their Makuta through a very similar method seen here. However, I'm not going to show you guys that right now. I'm going to wait until the Makuta Fantoka review. There's not a whole lot to say regarding these guys. Story-wise, he was the leader of the Kardatoran and Karda Nui, and they all wear noble versions, or at least now they wear noble versions of the Makuta masks. So the Jutlin, the Avsa, and the Shalik, I believe it is. So I don't know if they originally had those. I believe they did not, and they originally had noble versions of the original Mata masks, so the Hao, Pakari, and the Cow Cow. However, I'm not confident about that. So that's basically these guys. I'm going to group them all together again and give you the overview. And there we have them, the Kardatoran. Overall, the opinion for all of them is generally this. They unfortunately suffer greatly from the fact that they have limited articulation, especially after so many years of new and innovative Matoran builds. They're small, large for Matoran, giant chunks of plastic, and lack a lot of color and vibrance. Their bright colors are counteracted by the dark grays. They don't introduce a whole lot of new useful pieces, except, the ones that comprise the Av-Matoran build, and those have limited function because of their limited articulation. The new pieces they introduce, while they're okay and fine and, you could use them, are hindered and limited by the fact that 2008 introduced a new socket system. Not necessarily a system, but a new design, and you can see it right here. It's kind of angular. Unfortunately, all the joints are like this in 2008, and they result in brittle joints. You can probably see right here, that's starting to break. It is quite brittle. It is not fun. No longer are we in 2007, where only lime joints break, all joints break, because of this new redesign. They have very limited uses, so it's quite advantageous for you not to take these apart. So, that generally sums them up. What do you guys think? Do you like the Kardatoran? Which is your favorite Kardatoran? Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this review. Join me next week when I go over the Fentoka Toa. Thank you very much, and see you all then.